Hey everybody, I'm Justin with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my detailed review, dyno test, and drive of the MPT X4 SF4 Power Flash tuner, loaded with 3 custom MPT tunes, available for your 2015 and newer 5-liter F-150. You should be checking out the MPT X4 combo if you're looking for more than just some canned or preloaded tune and want a premium experience that you oftentimes get with a custom tune. Now this is going to allow you to get more out of your truck, from towing to performance to fuel economy, with all of its current modifications along with future modifications thanks to MPT's free tune revisions. Now guys, the MPT tune will cost you a little bit more initially, but hopefully by the end of this video you'll know why this is money well spent. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about why you might want to go with the MPT tunes and X4 device over some of your other options here at AmericanMuscle.com. We're going to talk about the power improvements over stock, the fuel economy benefits, and of course the drivability improvements, including shifting and throttle response. So hang out with me guys, I got a lot to talk about here. We're going to walk you through the device. We're actually going to hop in the truck and go for a spin later on in the MPT Tune 5-liter. But first, let's talk about what kind of power numbers you can expect using this combo. Now before we even strap the truck to the dyno, we replaced the big heavy aftermarket 35s in the rear with the factory wheel and tire setup just for the most accurate results on our dyno jet. We then proceeded to knock out those baseline runs using 87 octane. Finally guys, we drained that 87 octane, filled it up with some 93 octane, uploaded the corresponding tune from MPT, and here are all those results. Our baseline run using our 2015 5-liter F-150 gave us 278 horsepower and 316 pound-feet of torque at the rear wheels. With our 93 octane PRX tune uploaded, the truck made 293 horsepower and 340 pound-feet of torque. We gained 15 horsepower and 24 pound-feet of torque peak, along with 30 horsepower and 27 pound-feet of torque under the curve. All right guys, breaking down the graph a little bit here with the MPT custom tunes. Now the 93 octane PRX tune made a ton of power all over the place here. I felt this driving the truck all week long. The truck just felt very, very healthy. And these are some of the biggest gains we've seen out of any of the truck tuners available here at AmericanMuscle.com. Now this is pretty obvious because the 93 octane tune usually allows for more ignition timing, a slightly more aggressive tune, things like that, and that's why you're going to see these bigger numbers. They do offer you some different options, including their towing, economy, and race tunes available for each different octane level. So again, as you can see, the tunes are definitely doing their job. So what do you say we get up to the table and break down the tune a little further? In addition to the different engine calibrations, MPT also gives you the option of going with their transmission tunes or tweaks, or leaving the transmission untouched if you're happy with how it shifts in factory form. Now this is pretty cool to get this option, but take my word for it guys, go with the full treatment. MPT's transmission tweaks are totally awesome, and I'm going to touch on more of those later on when we go for a spin. Speaking of driving guys, I've been pounding the pavement all week long here with our MPT Tune 5-liter F-150 just to get a better sense of what this thing is all about, and also to see how our fuel economy fared. Now full disclosure, all of the tunes I tested improved miles per gallon somewhat over the factory calibration, whether it be MPT, SET, Edge, or Super Chips. Now in my experience, I found the MPT custom tune to land somewhere right in the middle between the SET preloads and the Edge and Super Chips preloads. Now as far as my driving route guys, well I see a healthy mix of both highway and back roads, and with the factory calibration on 87 octane, I was seeing anywhere from 11 to 12 miles per gallon with our lifted rig on 35s and a rather heavy foot. Now with the 93 octane performance economy tune from MPT, I was seeing anywhere from 13 to 13.5, even 14 miles per gallon using the same route and driving style. Now I do want to quickly point out guys that all of MPT's performance tunes essentially make the same amount of power at wide open throttle using the same octane. For instance, their performance economy, performance extreme, which is essentially their race tune, and their performance towing. The changes are going to come when you're looking at the part throttle cruising. For instance, the performance economy tune is going to use a very tame calibration when off the throttle or when you're looking at part throttle cruising, and is essentially going to shift you into those higher gears faster to get you the best fuel economy possible. So you're going to be looking at the best of both worlds here guys. Fuel economy when you want it, but the power is going to be on tap when you need it to pass or merge onto the highway. Switching gears to price guys, I think you're going to find the MPT loaded X4 to be pretty good at just north of 400 bucks, which isn't too shabby considering you're getting a solid tuning option here, a custom tune at that, along with a pretty capable device in the X4. Now, because this is a custom tune, you're gonna have the ability to add those different modifications, such as your intakes, your exhaust, your long tube headers, and even intake manifolds, along with getting the additional tune revisions at no additional charge from MPT, as long as you don't add forced induction or something a little bit more involved. So now that you know what you guys are getting with the custom MPT tune, let's hop in the truck, we'll plug in the X4, and then we'll go for a spin. All right, guys, so we're out in our 2015 5-liter F-150. I have the MPT 93 octane PRX tune installed or uploaded. It's my favorite tune. It's the one I wanted to drive again. I did drive some of their other tunes, but out of all the tunes I tested, the MPT tunes were by far and away my favorite tunes for the 5-liter truck. They offered the biggest gains, the biggest difference in drivability, and the power is just, I mean, you get on this thing, it's heavy. It's got the 35s, we're lifted 6 inches. The transmission settings are simply out of this world. And I think that's probably one of my favorite things about the tunes themselves. Just leaving a red light. The truck gets you in a second instantly, and then it just puts you right in the power band. So no matter where you are on the road, if you're on the highway, if you're on the back roads, just the slightest input in throttle will get you to downshift the gear, just like I did there. I mean, I didn't have to really give it half throttle, 3/4 throttle, and the truck reacted. No, I gave it the smallest input, and the throttle response is probably some of the best I've driven here with the 5-liter truck. Now, some of you guys might like that. Some of you guys might like a truck that shifts a lot because it's always putting you in the power band. On the other hand, some of you guys might not. And if that's the case, again, MPT does give you that option. You can leave all your stock transmission settings pretty much the same. You can leave the factory transmission calibration in the truck, but go with more of their power stuff, and that's totally an option. You can definitely do that. But again, take my advice. I've driven a lot of these tunes, and the transmission settings from the factory with these 5-liter trucks, or with any of the F-150s for that matter, are just a little soft and leave a lot to be desired, especially when you're on the highway and you want to downshift or you want to pass. You know you basically got to put this thing to the floor to get it to do anything. Not the case with MPT. Again, you give it half throttle, and there we go. We're down 2 gears already, and we're moving along pretty quickly. So again, huge gains in both torque and horsepower. The biggest we saw out of all the tunes we tested here at AM for the 5-liter to this day. And it's really to no surprise, right? Custom tunes, they're just gonna be a better, more refined product. You're gonna see bigger gains because you're getting a tune essentially custom tailored for your ride. But even with this, even with our stock truck essentially, just with the lift and everything, we still saw, again, the biggest gains in horsepower and torque, the biggest curve gains. So if you're towing, you know, or if you just like beating on your truck occasionally, the MPT is gonna offer you the best bang for your buck. Now, sure, they're gonna be a little bit more essentially when it comes to the overall price tag, depending on your device, but you're getting a better product, guys. That's the really only way I can put it. I gotta be blunt about it. Sure, the preloads are nice, but overall, for a little bit extra, you're getting a lot more of a product, and I really can't stress that enough. I'm going with a custom tune. For a big old heavy truck, it definitely gets out of its own way now with the MPT tunes. And even with the economy tune, even with the towing tune, again, I told you guys in the overview, wide open throttle using the same octane, the truck is gonna make the same number. Basically, wide open throttle, the dyno results, the power is all gonna be there. However, the PRX tune, it just feels more sporty. Now, granted, I drive a Mustang once in a while too, so maybe that's why I'm such a fan of the PRX tune. But personally, if I were to drive this thing every day, I'd probably leave it in the economy tune, the performance economy tune, because you're getting the best miles per gallon when it comes to all of their tunes, but you're also getting the power when you want it. From the performance, down to the drivability, down to the transmission settings, I really love these things. I can't say enough good stuff about them, as you can tell. Let's head back to the shop and I'll walk you through the actual SCT X4 itself. And I think you'll find the SCT is going to be one of your most popular devices in the tuning aftermarket. The X4 is definitely one of the most user-friendly devices, at least in my experience, and we're going to walk you through it right now. We'll start with the gauges and data logging. Now, I think this is going to be probably the most popular feature with the X4. It's something a lot of you guys are going to use the most, I think, when having this thing in your rig. You're starting off with 2 pieces of data here. Now, you have your intake air temperature and your control module voltage. Now, this is only one of many layouts with the X4. We'll get into it a little bit here. we can actually go ahead and select our gauge layout. Now you have a number of different layouts to choose from with the X4. So 2 is what they start you off with, but you can go all the way down to 8 here at one time to be displayed on the screen. We'll run down through some of them right now. Of course, starting with boost, if you had an EcoBoost, that would probably be a very useful one. Voltage, coolant temp, intake air temperature, you know, fuel trims, things like that. We have all kinds of stuff. Your air-fuel ratio, which is a big one with the SCT. A ton of different stuff to choose from with the X4 and have it all be displayed here for you. So you can go through the menu. You can actually choose a horizontal or landscape mode and have it be displayed sideways if you prefer. Personally, I like using it in the vertical mode. And I found that you can buy the suction cup mount if you want, but I actually have a holder for my iPhone. Works perfectly in there. Not a bad idea for you guys. Now, if you want to actually data log this stuff, if you're, like I said, making a wide open throttle pull, if you want to review some data logs, see what the truck is doing, very, very easy to do. You're going to want to set up all the stuff you want to data log. And when it comes time to record it, all you do is simply hit that middle button there. You can see the record button flashes up. You let it go as long as you want, and you can basically stop it at any point hitting the center button again. So, and this is something that you probably want to offload onto your computer to be reviewed by your tuner or by yourself if you're into that sort of thing. So we'll go down one to your vehicle functions. This is your diagnostic tool with the X4. This is going to be where you read and clear your diagnostic trouble codes, or your check engine lights, better known as. We have no codes currently, but if you did, it would display the code in its identifier, basically, starting with a P or something like that, and it would actually expand upon what it is. So if you had a misfire code, something like that, it would tell you on here. And you can actually clear the codes too if you wanted. Go down one, clearing your codes. All of our codes are cleared, so there you go. Go down one more. This is your special vehicle functions. You can do a cam reset, which is your keep alive memory, basically stored into the ECU. Basically, this gets cleared every time you disconnect your battery anyway, or your crank relearn. If you happen to have a misfire code, something like that, you'd get into that. So again, very useful things to have here on the X4. Go down to vehicle info. You can view your VIN here. Your strategy code, which is what you're going to need to look at once in a while when communicating with your tuner, ECU, all that good stuff there. Now, a nice thing about the X4, this thing has built-in wireless, so if you do need to update your firmware, which is something you need to do with tuners frequently, they oftentimes send out updates. You don't need to plug this thing in to update it. It's wireless, so as long as it hooks up into your Wi-Fi, the X4 will download the necessary firmware updates for you automatically, and it's a very useful feature to have. So here's the display orientation I talked about. We can change to landscape if you want. So now there you see, we can turn it sideways, and you can do more of a landscape setting if that's what you're into. We'll change that back to portrait real quick. Light sensor, this is your light sensor. You can actually see it right here, it's built in. So it'll just dim it if you like automatically. We have that set up already on ours. So it detects automatically when it's dark out, dims it for you, it's pretty nice. Power management mode, that's way it won't kill your battery. Basically, you can leave this thing plugged in at all times. You leave it on auto here, it'll basically power down after being inactive for a few minutes. If you leave it always on, it's gonna drain your battery, so just leave it on auto and you should be good to go there. This is pretty cool as well, startup. You can either have it start up anytime you plug it in or turn your truck on, it'll default to the main menu. Or what I do when I have the X4 in my truck, I have it start automatically to the gauges because that's where you usually end up anyway. So that's pretty cool, they give you that option. And then your factory reset, this is just gonna reset the gauges. All right guys, with most of the X4 pretty much gone over by now, let's get into the program vehicle operation here. Very simple stuff. Again, click on the program vehicle tab, make sure your key is in the on position, which we already have, so we're good to go there. And then it's gonna bring you to the tunes you wish to upload. Now we have some preloaded tunes on there, but we also have our MPT custom tunes, 93 octane performance tow, and our PRX. So from here on out, guys, you're basically just following the on-screen instructions when uploading your tune. Very, very easy stuff. Now it's gonna bring you to this screen as well. This gives you some additional options, and this is really cool because yes, even though the MPT tune is a custom tune, they still give you the options to changing your tire size, your axle ratio, things like that. So for us, for instance, we have a 35 on this thing. We're just gonna scroll down the list here, select 35 from the SCT tuner. There we go, now our speedometer and everything should be completely accurate. It also gives you the opportunity to switch up your rev limiter, speed limiter, things like that. So if you want to lend your truck to somebody, or if you want to let your son or daughter borrow it for a little bit, you can kind of put on some nanny features for them as well. So we're pretty much good to go here. So we're gonna go ahead and hit approve. And from here on out, we're pretty much ready to rock and roll. So the tune's gonna flash, It should take you a few minutes. Very easy stuff, guys. I know I said that already, but I will say it again. 1 out of 3 wrenches on my difficulty meter in regards to overall install difficulty. I mean, you're basically just hitting a few buttons here. It should take you no longer than 15 to 20 minutes the first time, and then flashing the truck becomes a little faster after that. All right, guys, so that's my detailed review of the MPT custom tunes loaded on the SCT X4 device. Be sure to learn more about the device and the tunes right here at AmericanMuscle.com.